Happyslapped by a Jellyfish. The words of Karl Pilkington. Foreword. People always say, write about what you know. Well, I don't know much, but I have been on quite a few holidays. Not because I've wanted to, but because my girlfriend Suzanne likes it. So I always end up getting dragged along. She said it's because she didn't go on holidays as a kid, which I think is a load of bollocks. Because she didn't do much ironing when she was a kid either, but she doesn't seem so eager to do that. I've always said that if I won the lottery, I would probably keep it a secret from Suzanne, as I think it would end up splitting us up, as she would be forever booking holidays. The world isn't big enough to cope with the amount of holidays she'd want, and I'm not very good at visiting the same place twice, because you see everything you want to see the first time you go, which means the second trip is seeing the things you didn't want to see as much, which means it's not as good as your first trip. I've stopped doing the lottery. A few days at our mam and dad's. The following are extracts from my diary. August 24th. It's bank holiday weekend, so we're seeing our mams and dads. We were at Suzanne's lot first. Her mum had bought me some Happy Face biscuits because she knows I like them. Her dad went out to play dominoes down at his local. We stayed in. Suzanne and her mum watched Pretty Woman with Julie Roberts and Richard Gere. It's rubbish. It's the one where Julie Roberts plays the part of a prosy. She's nothing like a real one. She was playing chess at one point. I don't think real prostitutes would ever be playing chess. I read me Nature magazine. There was a moth that had big wings. They were that big that the moth had to pack them away like a parachute after every flight. If I was that moth, I would walk everywhere, as I couldn't be doing with all the messing about. It's the same reason I'd never buy a convertible car. August 25th. Woke up with a sore throat due to the smoke from Suzanne's mum and dad's fags. Didn't sleep that well either, as I had acid indigestion from the full packet of biscuits I'd eaten. I went to get a paper from the shop. I saw 3 fat overweight cats on the way. No one looks after themselves that much up north, even pets. In London, I think people go too far in the way they spoil their animals. But it's the other extreme up north. Lynn, who lived 3 doors down from me, had a cat that was that fat that it couldn't clean itself properly, because it couldn't reach due to its fatness. So, she used to vac it. It just lay there like one of them bear rugs that you see, with the head still on them. Stayed in all day because the weather was grim. It was sleeting it down. The alarm on the chemist around the corner was going off for about 2 hours. I don't know why people bother having alarms, because no one takes a blind bit of notice. I can't be doing with noise. Noise pollution does my head in more than that source of pollution that causes global warming. At least you can sleep through a snowstorm. Had chippy for tea. After I've had chippy, I've always wished I hadn't. The idea of it is always nicer than actually having it. Suzanne's mam had some fun-sized Milky Ways that she got off an old woman that she cleans for. I don't know why they are called fun-size, because they are small. If I said to a midget, "Oh, you're fun-size," they'd kick off. August 26th. Didn't sleep well again. I know why. It's because I didn't do anything yesterday apart from sit and watch telly and eat. I'm off to me mam and dad's today. I said I'll get them a laptop for their birthday. Their birthday was on May 11th, but I said I'd get their present when I saw them next. Their birthdays are on the same day, so I only get them the one card between them. They say I'm tight because I don't get them one each, but I don't see the point. I only get them one card between them for their anniversary, so I don't see the difference. The train was packed. We were on a table with a fat fella who worked in an IT department. He was harping on about how he's going to run the company. He was fat and really unhealthy. He got up to get his lunch from the overhead shelf, and he got a sweat on. He always had some breathing problems. He snored even though he was awake. I had to put up with it for 3 hours. My dad picked us up from the station and took us straight to PC World to get the laptop I said I'd get. The fella in there was trying to sell us loads of extras that he didn't want. He was cross-eyed, which made it difficult to do a deal with him, because eyes are important when doing a business deal because you sense trust through them. But I didn't know which one to look at. I got it back to the house and had a go at setting the computer up for them. It wasn't easy. It took nearly 4 hours. My dad was getting annoyed and wished we'd just bought me mum a kitten to replace the one that she had put down a few months back. My dad looked in the manual and got even more annoyed with some of the instructions. It said click TCP/IP and then choose either using PPP or manually from the configure IPv4 as entrusted by your ISP. If you have static IP, type the address in the IP field. He has got no patience. I think that's where I get it from. When I was a kid, they bought me a ZX81 computer for Christmas, and I couldn't get it to work. It turned out that I needed some extra memory for it and had to buy something called a RAM pack. Problem was, Tandy, the computer shop, was shut and would be for about another week, due to it being Christmas. I was that frustrated that I was sick in the kitchen sink while my mum was peeling potatoes on the draining board. Me and Suzanne went to bed. We decided to sleep top and tails due to the fact that my dad had used his chainsaw on the mattress. He said it wouldn't fit in between the cupboards in the bedroom, so he'd taken a few inches off. He then used heavy-duty staples and gaffer tape to seal where he'd cut. It's amazing how those few inches make such a difference. August 27th. Woke up to the sound of me dad shouting at the computer. I could hear the noise it makes when you switch it on and off. I can't see him getting their heads around it. I went down and showed me mum the sort of weird stories you can find out about on the internet. I found out some news about some sheep that were chucking themselves off a cliff. 2,000 of them. It said how the first lot died, but as the pile got bigger, the sheep started to survive due to the fall being softened by all the wool. My dad said he hadn't got a computer to be reading about that sort of bollocks. Mum then went on to read about a chicken that had 4 legs. My dad got a dishwasher off one of his mates and I helped him fit it. My mum didn't really want one, but my dad said my mum shouldn't be wasting time washing up when they've got a washing machine that could do it. He then went on to say while the machine is doing the washing, my mum can get on with the ironing. We went into town and had a wander about. We left my mum to go off on her own as she doesn't like me dad tagging along, because she said all he ever does is, "What do you need that for?" We went and had a lolly and a walkabout, looking in the estate agent window and that. We met me mum at the car an hour later. She had bought a colander. Me dad said, "What have you bought that for? We've got 2 at home." Me mum said, "Yeah, but they've got holes in." I think she does it to wind him up. When we got back, the weather had cleared up a bit, so me and Suzanne sat outside. I could hear the computer being switched on and off again. We were being bit by midges, but Suzanne didn't want to go back in the house because me dad wouldn't stop mithering us about how the laptop works. We are going home tomorrow.